Welcome to the Canned Wine Podcast, where we open cans of wine and talk about it. Our fantastic journey continues. However, we are still in Saskatchewan. Hold on, it's not what you think. We will get to that in a moment, but first we have to talk about our wine nerd word of the week, which is oak, American oak. And American white oak is a tree that grows in the eastern United States. We have bur oak out in Manitoba and even in some of the river valleys of Saskatchewan. And the beautiful thing about it is the way the wood is structured. It's great for making barrels. It's key for making bourbon barrels, but it's also great for aging wine. And because of the structure and the chemical compounds in the white oak wood, you tend to get these kind of vanilla flavors, they say dill, cedary flavors. It's a very bold flavor and a little bit more forward flavor than the French oaks. But before we get to our can of the week, I would like to welcome our longtime contributor and general all-around person in the capital city of Regina, Saskatchewan. Catherine, are you there?
I'm here, Brad.
Welcome back to season 4. Who'd have thought that that we've gotten this far along in this crazy idea?
Yeah, it's great that it's going still, and I'm happy to be back.
And I was able to, on my recent trip up north, secure a supply of New York wines to Catherine, because the way things are right now, it's difficult to get any American wines in Canada. But at least she has some cans of New York wine and a local wine as well. In fact, can you introduce our can of the week?
Yeah, I'd love to. We will be opening and talking about a stainless steel Chardonnay from Benmarl Winery. It comes in a 250 ml can, and it is 12% alcohol. And I just have to say this can is very beautiful.
It is in a very kind of a watercolory thing. It's kind of a pale, you can see the Hudson River there. That's probably the view from Benmarl because it's right on the western shore of the Hudson River and overlooking that. Their claim to fame, maybe not their only claim to fame, but they have wine growing license #1 in New York State. So they've been around for the 1800s, and they've got the original license to grow wine in New York State, and they've been doing it more or less on and off for quite a while. Now the current proprietor is Victor Spaccarelli Jr., and it's sort of a family operation. They do have a lot of events going on. I think there's some wine stompings coming up and stuff like this. And this is a new vintage for us. We picked it up at Viscount Wines and Liquors in Wappingers Falls, New York. And as wine stores go, they have about the best selection around here of cans, and at a reasonable price point. They do a good job of it. They used to have a lot more, but in talking to the managers there, they said, the demand is down. People are going towards box wines and these sorts of things. But where the wines are picking up is in this kind of craft area where people are making small contained batches from single estates of very good wines. So I think that really qualifies for it. I've chilled mine. They say you should probably serve a Chardonnay between 45 and 50 degrees, fairly cold. So I took mine out of the fridge about 45 minutes ago, and we're ready to open it. Did you find anything interesting in your reading about the winery that I missed, Catherine?
Nothing that you haven't already mentioned.
Yeah, and that, as the crow flies, is less than 20 miles from me, and I've been to Marlboro a few times. I didn't see the winery, but I wasn't necessarily looking for it. But definitely on my list of places to go, and I'd like to get up there and check out some of their events, see the lay of the land, and see what if previous wines are an example, what terroir they have that really allows them to produce great wines. Now, these wines didn't actually come from the winery there. The Chardonnay grapes from this come from the Finger Lakes region, which is probably 150 miles further west and a little bit north of that, but it's still within New York State, so it is a New York State wine. So without any further ado, are you ready in Saskatchewan to open this wine?
I am absolutely ready. I'm a big Chardonnay fan in general, and I'm really excited to try this one.
Yeah, and Chardonnay is one of the most produced grapes in the world. In fact, France and the U.S. lead the world in production of Chardonnay. Now, obviously, the way they produce it and the way they ferment it. Now, this says it's stainless steel, so obviously it was fermented in stainless steel, which, as our wine nerd word of the word from last week, we touched on that really helps to bring out the fruity flavors because there's no, influence of oak or whatever in that initial thing. Now, maybe oak aged, I couldn't find that, but if you're ready, I'm ready, and let's count down to open. 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, it's a very pale color.
Very light.
Do you smell oakiness? I do. I smell a bit of an oaky flavor. There is some. I don't smell pineapple, but possibly some peachy flavors.
Yeah, maybe a bit of green apple.
Yeah, I definitely getting a green apple. A little bit buttery in presentation too, so maybe they did a malolactic fermentation. I think so. It has a very buttery flavor to me. Are you experiencing that too? Or no buttery flavors?
Yeah, I'm getting that. Maybe not as strongly. I mean, you're saying very buttery, and I'm not maybe tasting it quite as strongly as you are, but I'm still getting that peachy green apple, and it does taste a little bit oaky, but it's very light.
Yeah, and it has a very pale color compared to our wine from last week, which was a Pinot Grigio from Point Pilet. It had almost an amber color. This is straight up sand, I would say, maybe even a straw color. It's a very pale color.
Yeah.
Now, why you would get a buttery flavor is after they do the traditional fermentation using yeast, they introduce a bacteria in it that causes malolactic fermentation, and that turns some of the acetic acid in it into malic acid, which gives you the literally the buttery flavor. So I'm thinking that's there. I would have to check for a fact sheet. I could not find one, but I'm based on the taste, I think so. So it's great. Now, one of the recommendations they had said would be to pair this with seafood or lobster, any kind of light fare. I would probably pair it with what I had for lunch at the Gala annual North American Rock Garden Society picnic. I bought a noodle salad with a peanut dressing, cilantro, and I think it had shredded carrots, and it was delicious. I like a good peanut noodle salad, but that's me. This would go very well with it, and I used an Italian spaghetti as the noodle, so it was a good combination. And this would have gone with it.
Well, I'll be having this with spaghetti tonight, but not a peanut spaghetti. I'm making just like I've got a little herb garden on my porch, so I'm going to sort of do a light herb spaghetti.
With a white sauce or a red sauce?
Well, it would probably be a white if I do it, but I might just do olive oil as well.
Oh, okay.
Be very simple. Yeah. Yeah.
That would be very minimalist and very tasty.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And for our shout out today, as we're moving along here, um, we'd like to, well, thank Catherine from joining us from Saskatchewan, where they don't have any real wine production there per se, but they,
No, we do have some fruit wine, but not. I mean, I guess grape isn't fruit, but like a cherry wines or
or
berry wines, things like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
rhubarb wines and dandelion
rhubarb,
wines
yeah,
and these
things like that.
kind of things. The climate is, being that they're in the center of the continent, it's a little bit extreme, and I don't. You could grow. Trying to think of the name, of Concord grapes, but I've never
Yeah.
I've never found a Concord grape that made a decent wine in my taste, for my taste. Maybe you like.
Makes a great jelly.
It
makes
makes
a great jelly, but not necessarily a great wine.
and a great jam. So yeah, either one of those, and
Yeah.
and they're good for just eating. But I've never tasted a wine that didn't have that kind of foxy flavor to it. So that's that, and we'd like to thank everyone who made the trip over from Spotify. We appreciate that there's very few people listening to us on Spotify right now, but hey, when you've got a colorful shirt like this and you can see the actual wine, it just makes sense to join us here. So thank you for coming over. So, and again, thanks for joining us, Catherine. Our head scratcher today is, what two geographical areas produce the most Chardonnay in the world? You can look it up or just listen earlier because we did mention it. And in closing, thank you for tuning into the Can Wine Podcast, where we open cans of wine and talk about it. That's what we do. We're not here to sort out your troubled world or anything like that. It's just people opening cans of wine and talking about it and learning a bit about where they're made, how they're made, all of this. We try and keep it educational. And remember, enjoy responsibly. And just because it comes in a can, even if it's a very stylish watercolored can, don't drink and drive. Sit at home, enjoy it with a friend, enjoy it while you're watching a TV or listening to our podcast, but don't drink and drive. Always enjoy responsibly. The Can Wine Podcast is, as always, a Center Stage production, all rights reserved.